Now for our story. Lefty Larkin walked across the yard in back of the Lane farmhouse. He was so deep in thought that he didn't notice the fat Rhode Island red hen, which was happily scratching the earth in his path. She, on the other hand, was so intent on her own activity that she wasn't aware of Lefty's approach until a large, worn leather boot was planted within a foot of her.
Well, why don't you look what you're doing, Mabel? Yeah. Besides, you oughtn't to be running around loose.
The hen stalked away with ruffled dignity, and Lefty proceeded to the back door of the farmhouse.
Hi, Aunt Mary.
Hello, Lefty.
Mabel's loose again, darn her.
She's the most adventurous fowl we have. Did you catch her and put her back?
No, I couldn't be bothered. Someday Mabel's going to find herself in the middle of a Sunday fricassee if she don't watch out.
Randy would never forgive you. He insists that Mabel has personality.
Mabel. I never did know how he chose that handle for her.
Oh, don't tell anyone, Lefty. But the fact is, Randy named her after Miss Hornbuckle at the grammar school. He had her in geography class years ago. Randy says they have a lot in common.
I shouldn't wonder. Boy, something smells good in here. What you making, Aunt Mary?
Cookies.
Good.
The first batch ought to be ready in another minute.
I'll be right here waiting. Where's Peggy?
She went into town. She and Bill are going over to their flat. Those youngsters are just as excited as if they were moving into a 12-room house.
Yeah. I only wish they wouldn't make such a to-do about fixing it up. I hate to see them go to a lot of trouble because it'll be just wasted effort when I get my place ready for them.
Well, Lefty, after all, they don't know what you're planning. So naturally, they're eager to get the flat in shape. They expect to move in right after the wedding.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to stall them somehow.
Well, my cookies are done to a T.
I wish you wouldn't call them your cookies, Aunt Mary. I've got plans for at least a half a dozen of them right now. How'd you get them so even? They look just like the picture in the book.
Go ahead, Lefty. Have a sample.
You don't have to ask me twice. Right. Well, the best you ever made, now, right?
You say that every time I make them.
Yeah. I guess you keep improving them all the time, then. Well, I wonder if Peggy will ever be as good a cook as you are.
Oh, I'm sure she will. Peggy's a pretty good cook right now.
You know, that stuff, that stove down at my place is quite a decent one. Not that I ever used it much. But... I figure I'll paint the kitchen yellow. Always looks so cheerful in the winter.
Lefty, I wouldn't make too many plans just yet. Peggy and Bill are... Well, they may have their hearts set on this flat of theirs.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's only because it's all they could find. Just wait till they know my plan. When they find out they can live right here on the farm, near the family, in a house to themselves, why, they'll be tickled pink.
Mm-hmm. But youngsters have their own idea, you know, Lefty. You mustn't be surprised if they don't react to your suggestion quite as you expect them to.
No, I imagine they'll be flabbergasted at first. But when they stop to think how wonderful it'll be, having you and Randy and me right here within shouting distance, why, they couldn't ask for a better setup.
No, I suppose not.
Randy back from town yet?
Not yet. He had quite a long list of errands to do.
Yeah, no wonder. He's been spending so much time over visiting Kit Calvert at the sanitarium. Hardly had a chance to keep up with his chores around here.
He feels that the time he spent over there was well worth it, though.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm darn glad it's all over now. If Kit's getting well, as he says, she won't be needing him to run over there every time he turns around.
At least, not so often, I imagine. That will depend on what Dr. Laraby has to say about it.
It sure hands me a laugh the way it all turned out. Ben going over there to cause trouble. The way things stacked up, he actually did her a good turn.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet it would burn him up if he realized. It's a lucky thing Randy happened to be over there. The day Ben got in to see her, I mean. Why, from what Randy told me, Ben had the girl so upset she was crying, practically hysterical.
As ill as she was, for her father to go over there and make accusations, threaten her. Why, I can't imagine what he was thinking of.
Lord only knows what would have happened if somebody hadn't been there to stop him.
Well, the doctor said it could have been very serious.
I'll bet. You know, it's funny, Aunt Mary, this business about Randy's having been so important in the girl's life. Just because they were friends when they were kids.
Isn't it, though? The quirks in a person's mind are very difficult to understand. Unless you're a fine psychiatrist like Dr. Laraby.
Yeah, he sure seems to know his business all right.
Oh, yes.
Too bad he can't rebuild her whole personality. The way a plastic surgeon can rebuild a person's features.
Perhaps he can.
I'm not setting myself up as an authority. But I'll be willing to bet he can't change Kit's attitude toward life. It's too deeply ingrained. She's followed and lived by Ben Calvert's dog-eat-dog philosophy for too long.
Well, of course, the environment in which a person grows up is terribly important, but people's values can change, Lefty.
Yeah, maybe. But it doesn't happen very often, though. And in Kit's case, I'll bet anything it never happens at all. Oh, she may get well so that her mind works okay again. But you've marked my words, Aunt Mary. That girl is twisted, and she always will be.
You, Aunt Mary?
We're out here, Peggy, in the kitchen.
Oh, I'll bet I know it smells so good. Hello, everybody.
Hello, dear.
Cookies.
And they melt in your mouth, too. Try one, honey.
Oh, not now, thank you. I'm too excited to eat.
Yeah, that's something that never happens to me. Now, what you all hopped up about?
Oh, it's the flat, Lefty. Oh, gee, it's going to look beautiful by the time we're finished. I'm going to buy one of those old-fashioned dressers, Aunt Mary, and paint peasant designs on it in bright colors. We can use it to keep the dishes and things. And I saw some wonderful stuff for draperies at Swanson's today. I was going to buy it, but they have a whole bowl, so they promised to save it for me. It's kind of a rough texture, like oatmeal, you know.
Oatmeal? They make curtains out of oatmeal these days?
Oh, it's the texture, silly. It's sort of homespunish.
Homespunish. What kind of lingo do you women use?
Oh, poor Lefty. Peggy, I'm afraid you've got him all confused.
Oh, never mind. You know, Bill gets awfully baffled when I try to explain to him, too. But I must say, he does a better job of understanding than you do, Lefty.
Poor guy, henpecked already. He has my sympathy.
And he's awfully smart when it comes to the practical end of it. You know, like painting the walls and knocking out a partition so that we can...
Hold on a minute now. You mean Bill's planning to remodel the place?
Well, we thought if we knocked out this one wall, it would give us a lovely big living room. It'll be much nicer. Don't you think so, Aunt Mary?
Yes, dear. I've always been partial to big rooms myself.
But, Peggy, that's a lot of work, knocking out partitions and stuff like that.
Oh, Bill doesn't mind. He's going to get started this weekend.
But what's all the rush, honey? After all, this place of yours is just temporary. No point going to a lot of trouble. Why don't you use it as it is until you can, until we can build, huh?
Oh, but Lefty, that may be months and months. Bill and I want this first place we live in to be a home we'll always remember. Besides, it's none too soon as it is. We're not going on a honeymoon, you know, so we'll be moving right in.
Oh, I thought you were going on a trip. David said he'd be glad to give Bill the time off.
Oh, I know, but we decided to wait a while. Later, we'll take a nice long vacation.
Nobody ever tells me anything.
Well, I'm telling you now, Lefty. We just decided today.
But even if you aren't going away, there's no point investing a lot of time and money in a place you won't stay in.
Well, we're not putting a lot of money into it. Just time. And it's going to be lots of fun.
Well, maybe your plans will change.
Well, how could they?
Well, I mean that you might find some other place you like better.
Not a chance, Lefty. Bill and I both looked all over town. There isn't a single thing available.
I'll get it, dear. Hello? Oh, yes? Just fine, thank you. Busy? Well, I'm always busy, but no more than usual, though. Why, I believe I can. I see. Very well, then. I'll be over tomorrow afternoon. Yes. Take care. There's Dr. Laraby over at the sanitarium.
Speak of the devil. We were just talking about him, Peggy.
Well, what did he want, Aunt Mary?
He said he has to discuss something with me. I promised I'd go over tomorrow.
I wonder what he wants.
I don't know, Lefty. But he said it was about Kit.
And tomorrow, Aunt Mary, when you learn the doctor's reason for wanting to consult with you, the conversation you had this afternoon with Lefty may return to your mind. You may remember then Lefty's happy assumption that your son's connection with the daughter of Ben Calvert is at an end, an assumption which may be far from the truth.